Oh, this is pretty good. Do all people with mental illness think the same? Okay, dude. Okay, I think this title is kind of flawed, but okay, well, we'll just watch it.
A lot of my anxiety symptoms are really hard to hide sometimes. I will shake someone's hand and be like, yeah, I have OCD.
Please keep reacting. I hate watching your dog shit.
Okay.
React, treat, 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 eat, treat, 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 eat, eat, treat, 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 treat.
Mental health was discussed in my home growing up. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, no, not really. Never.
Mental illness was discussed in my home growing up, but it wasn't discussed in like a positive light. It wasn't really something that I was encouraged to seek out. I was more so encouraged to lean on faith.
I kind of feel like I was like the prototype in my family because after I was diagnosed with my mental illness, a few years later, my uncle got diagnosed and then 2 of my cousins did. And when I first was experiencing the symptoms, everyone thought that I was just being a rebellious teenager. The consideration that I might be going through something deeper than that was never even considered.
I think just being a first-generation Mexican-American, my parents thought that my symptoms or my expression was a choice. And a lot of times it was very like, you gotta stop talking in school, you have anger problems, or so it was not necessarily seen as something that I can work towards, but it was seen as a defective trait.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't until I was, so last year when I was first hospitalized that the conversation of mental health was brought up in my family. And I don't think it was done on purpose. I think it was just never had a space to do it, and we weren't really like accustomed to it.
I relate to that. It just never really came up.
Right.
Yeah. I have a memory of my sister saying, like, I think that Sparkle has OCD from a really young age. It wasn't really discussed outside of that, and I never really got help until it got so bad that I would have died if I didn't.
People are surprised to find out I have my mental illness. 3, 2, 1.
Oi, bruh. It me angry at everything and
Sorry, what was that? Hold up. What was the question, dude? People are surprised to find out I have mental illness. Okay.
I have my mental illness. 3, 2, 1, go.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably not.
Just choose, man.
Like in high school and stuff, like I was always like the
Felix,
even the cool dude, like everybody. It seemed like I had together really.
I'll put it on pause.
So I think it would probably surprise people that I'm dealing with
Keep it up, buddy.
bipolar disorder because it
Love you,
just
chat
seemed
less
like
than 3.
everything was so in order. Everything was looking how it was supposed to look. So I guess for some people it would be like a surprise for me.
I'm surprised.
I think I just try to carry myself the exact opposite of what people would think, just so I can make an effort to hide it a lot better. You think of depression and you think of just some gloomy person in the corner, and I tried my best not to be that person, to not let anybody know, because I was extremely insecure about it. I didn't want anybody to know that I was struggling with something that I couldn't really put into words.
I'm so open about it that like any stranger on the street, like if it should happen to come up, I will shake someone's hand and be like, yeah, I have OCD. Like,
You know what I was about to say? I'm gonna move to the strongly disagree because I actually tell everybody.
I actually, okay.
So there's no, because there's nothing to hide. Like
You're
I don't
right.
feel like hiding.
Okay.
Like, I'd rather tell somebody, oh yeah, by the way, I'm bipolar, so if I ever like start acting a little bit different, like that might be why.
Chat. I don't want to speak about this dude in like a negative light. It's just like that can be good, if it's like a good way for her to cope, whatever. But some people might see it as like her trying to get like attention or something like that or whatever. And it's like people are.
Medical professionals. 3, 2, 1, go.
Wait, what? Sorry, chat. I didn't read. I trust medical professionals.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay.
I was first diagnosed with schizophrenia, and that was after seeing a psychiatrist for 5 minutes. She sat with me, looked at me, she's like, okay, you have schizophrenia, just because I told her I had hallucinations. But I was later diagnosed as bipolar 1. So I think it's really important that these medical professionals really take the time to listen to their patient and to figure out what's really going on, and not just, you know, be so jaded by all their other past patients that they're not listening to the person, you know, sitting right in front of them.
I do trust medical professionals. Like, I believe for the most part that they're trying to do what's best for you, and we can't allow like mistakes or things that happen in every career, every field, discourage us or others from going and getting help from these people.
Chat, that's like anecdotal evidence, something, right? Like, you know.
But what if it was a person that had a more severe disability? Like somebody who can't go a day, who, if they drop the ball, that could land them in the hospital. I have seen some situations where there was a mix-up, you know, and one person got someone else's medication. You can't take that back.
What?
You know, and one person got someone else's medication. You can't take that back.
Self-diagnosis is dangerous and invalid. 3, 2, 1, go.
True.
Before I was diagnosed with bipolar, I thought I was absolutely everything because I was bipolar, and I'd be going through all these different manic episodes. And you know, one week I'd be self-diagnosing myself as this, and the next week I'm that. I see people struggle mostly with diagnosis acceptance. So I think self-diagnosis can really just turn into denial.
It's interesting, the first time that I went into a therapist and said, I think I have an eating disorder, I told her the amount of times a day that I was purging, and it was all day, every day, and she said, you're not thin enough. It's not a problem unless you get thinner and thinner. So it took me 2 more years to go and get help a second time. I did end up getting diagnosed later on with both bulimia and anorexia at different points in time, but I think it was good during those 2 years that I didn't have a diagnosis to still be able to talk to people, like to still be able to talk to my friends and say like, I have an eating disorder, I'm not diagnosed, but I have an eating disorder.
Before I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder, I noticed that in my freshman year of college that I thought I was depressed. I remember reaching out and telling someone, well, my girlfriend at the time, and she was like, no, you're not depressed. And so sometimes when you're like self-diagnosed, you kind of don't get treated the same as being diagnosed by a doctor. But I think people know themselves well, so I think it should be taken more seriously when people at least attempt at self-diagnosing themselves.
Therapy and medication works for me. 3, 2, 1, go.
Cool. Pause. Damn, dude. This video has no like strongly. It's always like slight.
When I did feel at my lowest points, the combinations of therapy and medications definitely seemed to help, but it's been a couple years now since that, and even when I don't feel necessarily okay, or if I feel like I'm struggling, I don't feel the need to run to therapy or for medications at this point. I feel like I've grown and learned a lot from what I went through, and learned my own coping mechanisms to say that I don't necessarily need to fall on that. So it's not something that as of now I can say that it works for me, because I don't necessarily need it as of now.
I'm torn with the whole therapy thing. Medication, I'm all for. I've been on medication since I was 16, and it's actually really helped me get through my different moods and keeping me stable. But as for therapy, sometimes I feel like when I go, I'm just like re-triggering, you know, the trauma inside me, so I don't really like to talk about it. But I agree with you guys, it does work for a lot of people. Not so much for me, but I would recommend therapy, definitely.
Well, and for me, going to therapy definitely saved my life. Getting a diagnosis gave me something tangible to hold on to when my like whole world was slipping away from me and I had no idea what to do. As far
Okay,
as the
chat,
conversation
chill
around
out, dude.
medication goes,
This
like
chat
a
war,
lot of
dude.
people don't realize that no matter what, medication is never like a perfect answer. Like it's always only like 40-50% effective. You still need peer support. You still need to like accept what's going on and work on it on a personal level, like no matter what.
Yeah, I think that for me, it's what like allows me to do that work. In
That
terms of
makes
anxiety
sense.
medication, like
Yeah.
my anxiety medication like lets me leave the house to go get therapy, and like it slows my brain down enough that I'm able to like think about it and then do the work. Yeah,
That makes a lot of sense.
I wish I didn't have my illness.
I mean, dude,
3,
strongly agree.
1, go.
I would say that I would completely take back, go back in time and not go through the darker parts of my life. But it's helped me grow a lot as a person. I wouldn't change the person that I've become, how stronger I've been from it, how much more confidence I've had in myself. Had I not gone through that, I wouldn't take that back.
It truly is so hard because in one way, like it has made me who I am today. It has made me so much more empathetic. It literally, I'm a mental health writer and it started my career. I wouldn't have the career that I have. I wouldn't have the connections that I have. But then thinking of how like I have osteoporosis, I have bone problems, I have teeth problems because of my eating disorder. And so it's like I wouldn't take away my past, but if I could snap my fingers and not have
I'm
to
not
deal with
laughing
it
because
for
of
the
this,
rest
it's
of my
just-
life, that would be excellent.
I'm very much so thankful that I went through the things that I went through because I've seen how it's affected my close friends, my family. It gives me the responsibility to be a voice for the voiceless, especially people in my community who go through these things, who don't know what's going on, have no experience with it at all. And for someone like me to just step out on a limb and just talk about it, I think I was chosen to have that role.
My parents were like convinced that I was just defective. And so now that I'm convincing my parents that I wasn't just making this up, they're able to see that I'm working towards something. But they still have to go deal with me. They still have to ask me, how are you doing? They still have to see me at the hospital. And being in your 20s is not easy to question if your life is, worth it, because you aren't just making a lasting effect on yourself, it really affects everybody. And I think that if I didn't have my disorder, I wouldn't be who I am.
Chat, I can do this, chat. Chat, I can't watch this and read the chat at the same time. I can't do it, dude. Some of y'all motherfuckers, man, dude, some of y'all motherfuckers, dude, some of the shit you guys say is just so unbelievably stupid. I can't read it and not like, dude, I can't.
And I'm okay with that because life is more than just me.
I do believe that we should be positive about our mental illnesses so we can bring other people up who aren't even ready to accept that they're going through something right now. If they see us feeling like so negative and like we wish we could just rip all this away, which I totally understand, like how everybody feels. I'm not trying to say that it's so much easier or anything. All I'm trying to say is that it's part of your life, not your entire life. Like my life is so much more my beautiful husband, like my wonderful family, my cute chihuahuas, like that's my life. Like my life isn't that I'm bipolar, that I have an eating disorder, or that I experience sexual trauma.
This is such a hard one for all of us. I don't want to be in this line. I want to be in the middle because having this illness, like with you, it makes me who I am today. It's made me stronger. It's made me appreciate what I have. It's made me appreciate being happy. Because if you're living with a mental illness, some of us wake up every day just wishing to God that they could put a smile on their face and it actually means something. it's so hard, you know, and I think life would be easier without taking all those pills, without not knowing if I could even have a child because I can't bear a baby with taking all these pills. It sucks. But at the same time, there's so many people out there who live with these illnesses, and I think it's up to us to help them and to, you know, be their strength and to educate people, because who else is going to do it if not us?
No, that's nice.
You guys are awesome. Thank you all for sharing.
That was a good video, dude. It just did. Guys, sometimes it's like something happens, right? And then the chat starts spamming something, and some people react to that by typing something else. And then we're on to another topic, but I still see this trash in chat. I still see it.
9 months.
And I can't not laugh,
I've never
dude.
done this before. 77 octillion 777 septillion 777.
Chat, can you even blame me though? Guys, are you guys even reading this chat? Some of the stupid shit I see in there, dude.
Smiley face. Are you still doing links? Here's one just in case. If not, then I hope you have a good Thanksgiving. 3
Watch the what?
months. Poggers in chat, boys.
Dude, I just feel like overall, it is good to be aware, right? It is good to look at the signs, and when things slide, you know, to take the proper measures. But I think the question with the self-diagnosed thing is you got to be careful, you know, sometimes with the wording, right? Like, it's okay sometimes to be sad, dude, for like a day or two. It happens. Dude, people get sad. We all feel sometimes momentary sadness. There are times where, oh man, today it was just kind of sad. It happens, dude. But then you pog it out, you know. But if you're sad for like half a day, right? And then you call or you say, yo, dude, I can't get in. I got depression today. Like, dude, it can do overall more harm than good, you know. So you kind of have to be careful with you know, with the wording and the fucking like self-diagnosis shit, dude.
And you don't do that Hyperdon's game. Now click my link and react harder to its streamer. Wrap it up, Russell. Bro, am I still watching this react, Andy?
Yeah, I'm enjoying this though. This is a good react, Andy. No, I wasn't diagnosed with anything, dude. I just at some point I went to my fucking doctor, dude, and I told her, dude, that I had chest pains, and she got me some like boomer lady who was like a therapist. I went there once for like half an hour, dude. And I told her, dude, yeah, I got chest pains, man. And whenever I put a seatbelt on in a car, dude, it fucking hurts me, dude. Right? And she says, okay. Write your feelings on paper. And she this button. So I was like, dude, I'm done with this, dude. I booked it out and I was fine after. It was fine. Okay, what is that?
Last time I saw you, is that thing that way down there?
Guys, it was a boomer. Guys, it was a boomer. She couldn't understand me.
Car.
Yeah.
Wrap it up,
Yeah, I guess I have. Let me ask a question about specifically.